Hello and welcome to the 15th episode of the OBearry podcast. This is the second season, and the second season emphasize on just, friends sitting down for an hour or so, just chatting about life, whatever is on our mind and our hearts. And today I have the privilege, I have the honor to present to you the mighty, the glorious, the soft, the kind, the Klein, Cory. Welcome.
That was really good. Thank you. I am almost speechless.
Do you like the intro?
I loved that. That was amazing.
Made it up just now, just for you, baby.
Oh, you're too good to me.
Look at him rocking that OBearry mug as well.
Oh yeah.
So welcome everyone.
I'm not gonna lie. The only thing I drink out of this is water. That's all I will put in this mug. Because OBearry is life, water is life. It's a circle or a line that goes back and forth.
See? I like it. It's on brand. It's my values distilled. Like, if my values were a drink, it would probably be water, Just like something healthy,
and I am
natural,
totally with that.
Organic. We're live. That means that we have a chat running on the side here because we are live on Twitch. If you're listening to this after this happened, oh my God, you weren't here. That's okay.
You're immortalizing us. Both.
It's happening. And you just know, if you're listening to this, just know that we might get distracted. There might happen stuff that we react to. And it's because, when that stuff happens live. What, Cory?
We'll get distracted.
What will we get?
We will get distracted.
We will get, okay, yeah.
Be honest.
Yeah. Okay, we will be distracted at least 10 times. Get ready. Okay, Cory, you're a big nerd. Is that correct?
Yes.
It's like, I can see it straight away. You have posters, you have gaming gear, you have Fallout. What are they called? The boys? Pip boys?
Wait, what? The boys?
The boys? The Pip boy?
What do I call the boys? Well, this one's my left boy. This one's my right boy.
He's pointing at his muscles. The biceps.
Yeah. Muscle. Yeah. The corner of my Fallout stuff, is that?
Yeah. I was like thinking about the Fallout stuff. Yeah. And everything else.
I have spent too much time in Fallout, in the Fallout universe, to know that I dislike the lore changes, breaks, and reimaginings of Fallout 4. I know, hate me.
We just before we started the podcast, you actually mentioned the amount of hours that you spend in Fallout worlds.
I said it like I was proud, but I'm not. 10,000 at least minimum between the 360, the Xbox One, and PC, and that's between Fallout New Vegas 3 and 4. There's an absolute minimum of 10,000 hours. One save game alone on the 360 that I wish I had saved before I upgraded to the Xbox One was one save file that had over 800 hours on that one save file alone, where I tried to do literally everything and collect everything, all the unique weapons, all of, obviously the skill books and the bobbleheads and everything else. And like I combed through the internet to make sure I had done everything in Fallout.
Did you discover bugs? Did you discover things that like most people miss? Like, you must have seen stuff that most people just miss, but you
not really.
You didn't recognize
anything. Not really.
Weird.
It was a very streamlined experience for me, honestly. And I was like, oh, Fallout 3 is super buggy. I don't know if you're playing it on PC. PC is a port, which people don't realize. There's a lot that goes into making from console to PC. And on console games, it's relatively locked down. And yeah, there's still some bugs that can be exploited and whatever, but those are more of exploits as opposed to random glitches that happen. I personally haven't seen many of that in Bethesda. He says as he found something that was kind of weird maybe a week or so ago.
But yeah, because
Fallout 3 modded.
But that's funny because they used to make good games, right? And now they're all broken when they released.
Well, It's a new age of gaming, which kind of upsets me. Is where, oh, here's our 2/3 of a final product. We're gonna keep updating it and release some DLC to fund the updating instead of just, here's your full game, have at it, boys and girls and everything in between.
Yeah.
You know, it's,
yeah. And there was
I feel like
you talked about another game that you spent a lot of time in your, was it middle school? Like you
no, it was my high school career, is what I call
the
it.
high school career, the high school video game career. What game was it?
That was Resident Evil 4.
So you
now, prior to Resident Evil 4, I had played a lot of the PS1 titles. I had played, and I think every single one except for Survivor 2. And my dad, when I was like old enough to hold a controller and understand that when I push buttons, something on screen happens, I was literally like this big, maybe
a fetus.
Not really, but
no. Wait,
I was still in my mom's stomach. I was holding a controller.
They put a controller in the stomach for you. No, okay.
Yep.
No. Keep
anyway,
Keep going. Stop. Stop me. Keep going.
There's this first hallway in Resident Evil 1. It's directly to your right when you first start, but you have to do something else on the left hand, whatever. No spoilers, except for the one big spoiler that everybody knows of, and there's a reason why it's big, like kind of a big thing. When you first walk down through this hallway, you're like, okay, this is fine. And it's a big L-shaped hallway, and there's walls. It's a really narrow hallway, sense of, you know, almost entrapment. Like you have one way to go. That's so we're going forward, and I'm like, okay, this is fine. I'm a child. I'm holding a button down. Ha ha ha. Things are happening. Then all of a sudden, these zombie dogs bust through and break open these windows, and it goes from like this quiet, like you hear like your footsteps, tunk tunk tunk, and then boom, loud crash, the dogs jumping in, they're barking, the battle music starts playing. I literally threw the controller and screamed. My dad laughs at me to the day because of it. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
Every time he's played that game, I see him jump at least just a little. Like it could be a little shoulder shrug, or it could be like a like the chills kind of thing. He always jumps at that jump scare, even knowing it's coming.
So you're
like exactly what he knows how many steps it takes into that hallway for when it to happen, and he still is just there's a little sense of ugh. And like I wish they could make games nowadays that still had that. No matter how many times you played, it still has that, ooh, you know?
Yeah. That's an epic video game history moment.
Epic gamer moments, guys.
Your dad is still a gamer. He still plays games? And he introduced you to games very early, and then you just hooked you on it?
My brother and I both kind of took over his obsession with gaming. Because he still plays games. He has trouble with modern games because, you know, the games he played was like the original Resident Evils, which is, you know, pre-rendered backgrounds, tank controls, all that good stuff. And so when you get into two sticks to move and aim, he's like, how does this work? You know? Okay. And I was like, now you know how I feel, you doo-doo head.
Good job.
I got it.
So okay, but he introduced you, and then you just turned into a video game nerd. Did you have other interests?
That's all I had.
Did you have other interests growing up, like sports or activities or things that you enjoyed, like just playing in the forest? I don't know.
Kind of. Most of it was gaming related, to where I was. It opened up my world to. There's all these other worlds you can explore. There's all these things you can do, you know, rehash, yada, 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 things everybody's ever said. But the other thing that kind of led to me being who I am now was I used to play a lot of like, you know, like Army Guy or whatever with like my brother. And we would like kind of reenact things that we saw in video games, like out in our yard or whatever. Yeah. And there was like this was when Final Fantasy X was released, and we had a PS2 at the time. This was probably like a year or so after, because we were always a little bit behind, but whatever. And I remember one of the earliest memories I have playing with my brother was we were in our front yard, and he was kind of, it was almost like a Dungeons and Dragons kind of thing, to where
Yeah.
he was like a DM, and we're sitting there playing, and he go, okay, now this happened. And then, like, we run around the house, you know, and then we come back. We're like, oh, we're in, like, you know, a different part of the story. And he's like, oh, you encounter an enemy. Then you play the enemy, and
Oh.
I'd be like, oh, I'm using this attack, you know. And it was just, there was something magical about that
Yeah.
honestly kind of got lost, that I wish I could recapture
Because
and get
when
back
yeah,
to.
because
But
when you're a kid and you can visualize and imagine things so
oh,
vividly,
absolutely.
you are the video game, like you are the character in the game, and you are experiencing it as if you are there in first person, like it's happening to you. And that's something that's really magical, just like you said about, you know, being a kid playing. And then I guess like that's also one thing that we as gamers or whatever, that we enjoy video games, we still enjoy, you know, immerse ourselves in these different worlds. um so what you've been playing a lot of games, like you growing up, but still you still play a lot of video games, right?
Oh, I even go back to the basics. You can't see it because my my desk is in the way, but you can kind of see, you know, controllers and what over here. But I have my N64 with, I don't know, that many cartridges for it. My Super Nintendo with, I don't know, like 4 or 5 games with it. My PS1, I have a stack of games down there like this, and behind my piece or my monitor over here, I have a stack. Let's measure this high of other PS1 games.
Wow.
And I'm using PS2 games that I don't play that often as stands to lift up my monitors.
I love that.
It's quite a unique setup. But no, like I always find myself coming back to these games because there's almost an innocence attached to it, to where now it's like, you know, you got these super real immersive games. You know, it comes really close to not real life, but real life in that universe or in that world.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard to pull yourself away from that and go back to, you know, the original Driver on PS1 and go, this is a huge city, and it's like you can drive from one end to the other in like, you know, a couple minutes.
Yeah, but you still enjoy that. You enjoy going back to the old games.
Absolutely.
What is it about them? The innocence, like the way that people the way that games were made back then, like, and the limitations they had, so they had to be like creative in other ways.
Exactly. There's a limitation aspect and almost a simplicity aspect to it that really just, the simplicity almost makes it feel surreal, because when you're a child, everything is simple. Everything is, you know, it's almost bare bones when you're a kid.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I relate to these games. They're kind of bare bones games because, you know, the console limitations, the disc limitations to how much, you know, memory they could hold, and how quickly you can tell the story you want to tell in that one disc or two.
Yeah.
Depending on, you know, if it's a big game or not. Looking at you, Final Fantasy 7 and
yeah,
8.
hello, like 4 or 5,
and Jade Cocoon and Driver 2 and
yeah. Whoa.
My chair wasn't all the way down. I just scared myself. I was sitting here fiddling with my chair controls.
Okay. We're gonna take it back a step and just, you know, talk about like how do we know each other. I'm a streamer. You are a streamer now, but you haven't always been, right? You started, I don't know exactly.
I mean, I got into it after watching you and maybe 2 other people again, because I did, my first stream was probably 3, maybe, yeah, I think probably about 3 or so years ago. For
okay.
Extra Life. I would do like 1 stream a year for Extra Life.
Cool.
And
what is Extra Life?
Like, you know
for
what,
those people who don't know what Extra Life
Extra
is.
Life? It happens, I guess, technically kind of like all the time. But Extra Life is like, they have like this set time to where it's like you play 24 hours of games and you raise money for a charity. And it's a charity of your choosing. It could be it's mostly like hospital oriented, and you know everybody chooses their local hospitals. You can be part of teams. You can be part of like it's this whole thing. It's Extra Life. Was it .org? I think is it .org or
No,
I'm pretty sure
not
it's
sure.
.org.
Not sure.
I'm 99% sure it's .org. Extra Life, and the Extra Life also kind of got me back into streaming again because I was like, I feel like I could be building up a community and doing more as opposed to doing one stream, you know, every year and have, you know, only my friends and family be like, oh, here's, you know, $5 or $10 and raising, you know, like $50 at the end of 24 hours. And they specifically say not to do like a 24 stream by yourself because it's extremely hard on your body.
Yeah.
But I don't listen to rules.
Yeah.
For the most part, I don't listen to rules. And, you know, and every year I do a 24-hour stream starting at like, you know, 7 a.m. going to 7 a.m. the next morning. Or, you know, starting at 7 p.m., then going at 7 p.m. so I don't mess up my cycle or whatever, my sleep cycle.
Yeah.
But it really made me want to essentially be a better, like, being a better person is what it boils down to with me streaming. Yeah, I say things and whatever, but it's all in just and in good fun. But
you have we know you as this kind of like outspoken, like saying, you know, like be I don't know how to describe it. Okay, I'm around the edges. Is that a nice word to put it? Like
you can't be mean to me, OBearry. Just say it. It's fine. I will take absolutely no offense.
Like I have a rule that I put on myself. Like I don't curse on stream. You don't have that rule. So it's okay. So like,
absolutely not.
Yeah. That's one way to put it.
Streaming if that was the case.
But you also have this very soft inside, which I think a lot of people in the community have also learned and also like discovered about you, and we all appreciate it, and like appreciate the like a contrast in your personality, that you have also this like the little rough side, but also like the very gentle heart as well, very empathetic and open-minded, which is cool. But this wasn't supposed to be like, you know, like, oh, let's just throw compliments at Cory, but there you go. But
thank you.
But you mentioned 24-hour streams. We have to talk about that a little bit. I want to do a 24-hour stream at some point.
Healthy snacks, no sugar, lots of water, no energy drinks.
Right.
That's like my main rules.
Yeah.
Is like
good.
Well, like I guess I can't say no because almost you know, a lot of foods have natural sugars and whatever. But like no, like don't, you know, like down a pixie stick and like 3 Red Bulls and go, I'm gonna do a 24-hour stream.
Right.
You won't make it past like hour 7.
Right. You'll crash. Yeah, that's good. That's good tips. Food and like the drinks and like keep it.
Get up and take breaks.
Right.
I always thought that taking breaks was kind of like a cop out, like as like, oh, I'm not actually playing for 24 hours because, you know, I took like a total of like 2 or 3 hours of breaks. But no, like you're still there, you're still live. You're simply, it's self-care at that point.
Yeah.
You're taking care of your body and your mind to kind of, whew, okay, and then you get back into it.
Yeah.
It's like when you work out, like at a gym, you don't sit there and just bench press for, you know, 3 hours. Just, oh, I'm pushing up, you know, 400 pounds. You know, you take breaks in between your sets. And that's kind of another thing too that I equate with the 24-hour stream is it's one heck of a workout. It really is. You can really push yourself to limits, you know, and past limits you thought you had set for yourself.
It's a marathon for gamers. Like instead of doing an actual marathon, it's a marathon for gamers. Like, and it's rough. It's tough. I'm gonna try and get back to where we're like what we talked about. Like when did we like meet on Twitch? Like where was it? It was.
I know exactly what it was.
Was it Skyrim?
Well, not the day, but I know exactly what was happening.
Was it Skyrim I was playing, or like what?
Absolutely not. It was after Skyrim.
It was after Skyrim. Was it Stardew Valley? No, wait.
Fallout New Vegas.
Of course, Fallout New Vegas is
Yeah,
that's
that's what it is.
and that's the only reason you found me, because I was playing that specific game.
Absolutely. Yep. I was looking for people who were streaming Fallout New Vegas, and when I clicked on your channel, I was like, okay, this guy's, you know, happy-go-lucky, kind of, you know, innocent, whatever. And I was like, you know, that's fine. Actually, I should probably have more of that. And I was like, you know what? Whatever. I'm gonna see if there's like, you know, more vulgar, like, oh yeah, I totally blew that off. Take that, nerd, or an expletive there. But then, I was kind of looking through, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go back, and then I clicked back on your channel again, and I was like, this is more relaxing, and it feels better on my insides as opposed to, you know, the constant, I guess, almost heaviness in a sense.
Like people reacting like dramatically and cursing, and
I hate that. The disingenuous reaction is something that really brought me to you, because you don't do that. You're not going, whoa, this thing just happened, and then you flip your desk over and start screaming. You know,
I get up on my chair and dance instead. It's almost as
and,
weird,
you know, and that it's like an innocent wild is what it is. Is what it kind of comes down to.
Yeah,
it's an innocent wild, and I am totally on board with that most of the time.
Because I was gonna say, it's funny like how we are so different in when it comes to like life experience, kind of how we live our lives, I guess, day to day. I don't know, like we live in like, but there we also have a lot in common, I think, when it comes down to the bare bones, the values, and what we believe in. Like when it comes to people,
the moral values of being a good person.
Yeah. And like that's
how we go about being a good person, I think, is very different. But deep down, I think we absolutely love to be good. Oh, I'm sorry, I have to turn off my phone because this is insane. Everything just exploded. Let me turn that. I should have turned that off before. I am disruptive. I am the child in class who had his phone on.
Yeah.
That's me.
That's
Off, please.
Yeah.
Okay. I clicked off like 6 times and it's not. There we go. And now that we're done being distracted.
And I think that's one of the great things about this community, and like having this podcast with you, that we are there are so many people coming from different backgrounds, but coming together on Twitch in different communities and different streams, like, and they shared the common interest in video games, kind of like just, you know, bring people that would never hang out otherwise, or like maybe they would, but it was not likely. And it's a nice kind of like, you know, fun mix of a family of people. So it's really nice to have you on here, and I just want people to get to know you more. So we're gonna keep we're just gonna keep this going, because we just started.
Keep going.
And
so next question.
Yeah, next question. We talked a little bit about we talked about your gaming career. You spent so much time playing video games. What do you think, like, what was the reason, like, what has it meant, why were you playing so much video games, Cory?
It boils down to a sad reason, honestly, like a legitimately kind of depressing reason. I was alone, essentially. I really didn't have much else, so I turned to the world of make, like, you know, most do. And like, you know, I had my brother growing up, but he was the cool kid, you know. I was known as Cody's brother. I didn't have a name. I was literally nameless through middle school, high school, everything, because I was Cody's brother.
Wow.
And it made me really resent it, not realizing it wasn't his fault. He didn't go around saying, I'm Cody, this is my brother, no name, you know. And we had this kind of dynamic growing that was rather weird, because there's a lot of family issues and whatnot. My parents divorced at a young age, yada yada, sad woes. And my brother ended up trying to take over the dad role kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I would constantly yell, "You're not my dad. You can't tell me what to do." I was the rebellious, wild young one. And through most of high school, I hated my brother. For literally lack of a better term, I hated him because he was everything that I wanted to be. And then it took a lot to like look inside me and go, it's first of all not his fault, period, kind of thing. Second of all, he was the older brother trying to do what he thought was right.
Yeah.
So I was kind of just like, I get it, but you had friends. But I didn't see through that he was actually alone just like me. And, my brother and I growing up from young ages, there's a lot of stuff that went really, really wrong in our child. A lot of things that really shouldn't happen to anybody. Moving on from that, I didn't realize that my brother was just like me, except he had people around who didn't care. Like, who honestly just didn't, get it. And that to me would hurt a lot more than having nobody around you. Because having nobody around you, there's nobody around you, But having, fake people around you who truly don't care can be a lot more harmful than just being alone. So, and when I look back on it, I feel like I actually had it easier. And my brother and I have this super deep, awesome connection now that we honestly probably would have never had if I didn't resent him when we were young. It's just this whole weird thing of like how it works out,
Yeah. Growing up, you look at, you have these roles, with your siblings, different roles that we play, because we try to do our best. Like you say, we try to fit in. We try to be like good or like popular, or just, make things work the way. And it's funny, like the older brother usually tries to take on more responsibility, and they also, they are also more expected to do that at the same time.
Especially in a single parent household, you don't have both aspects of both parents to raise you, which I guess, most people who like parents are together, it's a big thing. And it's also kind of not. Like, you can totally be fine in a single parent house, but there's another aspect to it that a lot of people kind of don't see.
Yeah. It's really interesting that you say that it can be more harmful to be around people that don't support you or don't understand what you're going through than being alone. Like, you felt you were, but you used video games to kind of, fill up that emptiness in your life. And like, when did you find someone that understood? Like, did you, like, was it friends in school?
Are you ready for this cliche story?
Yeah, I want to hear it. Is it a love story?
It's super short, super simple, super cliche. I had two prior non-serious like high school relationships, and both of those I was like, I don't care about you as an individual because you know I've been alone my life, and I didn't know how to pick up on people caring about me. And as you know, I struggle all the time with depression. It's a chronic thing that never really goes away. So there's I guess this might be kind of a trigger warning for like 15 seconds, mute me. It has to do with, ending your life. I was at that point, and I was ready to do it. I was there, I was in the moment, and I was like, this is it. I have decided now. And then I made a decision to go, what's one more day? What's one more day here? It's nothing, right? One more day. I decided I'll do it. I'll do it the next day. Like I made my preparations and my plans, And that's when I met my now fiance, who I've been with for a correct number of years. It's really been that long.
Yeah.
We've been together for so long, the correct number of years. And the next day is when I met her, and it was one of those things that was like,
the next day,
is this some kind of intervention? I'm like, but I'm not that important to where, you know, someone's like, boom, this is a thing for you, and like I'm not that important, you know. I'm a person too. But it just so happened that I met her that day, you know.
What happened? How did you meet her?
That night. It was I don't remember, the site's not up anymore. I met her online. All the people online are meaning to, you know, kidnap you and whatever.
And you started talking like right away? Do you know, like, did she like get your attention somehow? Like she got you?
I really honestly don't remember the exact specifics. All I know is that I met her through somebody else that I knew on a chat room that I don't even remember the name of at this point. But all I know is that it doesn't exist. And I met her through one of my friends because I kind of liked that person who I was talking to, I think, if I'm remembering this correctly, which is totally possible that I'm not.
Okay, but like let's talk about how finding that person helped you. Like how, like, so you say you struggled.
She listened.
Yeah,
she genuinely listened. That's my short, concise, to the point. She just listened. I didn't want anybody to give me advice. I didn't want anybody to say, "Oh, you're worth living. Life's worth it." I didn't want to hear that. I just wanted somebody I could just dump my thoughts on, and they would go, "Okay, I hear you," and then, you know, just kind of naturally move towards, "Oh, well, you know, these are my experiences and whatever." You know, it's almost a sense of not trying, I guess, is what it kind of comes down to. Is what really helped me. Because I didn't want people to try, because that made me feel like more of a burden. People were going out of their way to, you know, try and do something about it.
Yeah.
And I didn't want that. I wanted somebody who would just listen. And she still, to this day, whenever I'm ranting and raving on whatever I'm upset about at the moment, she'll just sit there and go, okay. And then we might talk about it a little bit afterwards when I'm done, you know, ranting and raving. And it just, I don't know, we just kind of clicked. It was one of the most weirdest and surreal moments of my life, honestly.
Do you remember how long you spent, like how long it was before you met in person? Like, did you live close to each other, or did you live far away from each other?
She was in California and I was in Iowa, and I didn't see her until I was 18. And we had been together for 2 or 3 years before that.
So it
was a long distance relationship for over 2 or 3 years.
And that's interesting too, because even if it was a long distance, you can still listen to someone online, you know? You can be there for someone online, and it really is valuable. And that's really encouraging for communities to hear, like online communities to hear, like for our community, like it matters. Like if you tell someone that you can write to me anytime, that's valuable, and people need that, especially if you are struggling like with depression or like dark feelings or anything.
Yeah, and everybody goes through it differently, and there's no one key answer.
No,
that will,
of course not.
There's no universal answer to depression or to almost anything, honestly. But I literally stumbled upon it. I got lucky, is the way I look at it. I got super, because, you know, she was in kind of a bad spot, but I was in, you know, in relative terms, a lot worse spot than she was. And I don't know exactly how she felt about that, but what I think would be like my reaction to that is like, oh, well, this person's going through a lot more than me. I can still, you know, stick it out and deal with it.
So how do you make a relationship work and nurture
Trust.
and take care a relationship where both of you are kind of broken or like semi broken, you know, because that's trust.
Seriously, like that's what my personal own philosophy on any kind of relationship, whether it be intimate, friendship, or even like in the workplace, there has to be some level of trust. Period. Like that's I'm giving kind of short and concise answers, and I'm sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
Honestly, I boil stuff down. I boil stuff down to where I try and find a concise answer. Whether it's for me or somebody else, it doesn't matter. I want something that will give me results. Something that I can pinpoint and say, this is the definitive thing or the most important thing that I can use, utilize, or try to find to get through. So, you know, and get answers and keep moving with.
So what you're saying is like if two people they've been through a lot, and now they struggle, like maybe depression, maybe they're broken on the inside in some way or another, and to make that relationship work, because you can't save each other all the time, and like if you're struggling Absolutely yourself not. Like you can't save the other person, like, or be the hero all the time, because you also need care, and so you need a trust to kind of like to keep the relationship holding together, because you won't always be able to be there for yourself or the other person the way you maybe wanted to. Has that ever like that? I think a lot of people can relate to this, and it doesn't have to like there doesn't have to be depression or stuff like that, because trust is like universal for relationships.
Yeah, trust, and see, that's the thing. Trust is one of the very few blanket answers that I have found to be a blanket answer to most things. And the whole, like, you know, you have to love yourself before you can truly love others, or, you know, you have to trust yourself before you can truly trust others. I'm a big disbeliever in that, because there's always to it. There's always some sort of situation to where that's not the answer. But with trust, I feel like there's, I mean, you know, I'm not saying to go out and trust everybody, you know, oh, I trust you with my life, let's go do something right, you know. I'm saying there's like true trust between two people, from what I've noticed, is a definitive, you know, whatever nuance you want to throw at it, kind of answer for almost anything that you're going through. But the thing is that I noticed with trust is that it requires two people, at least two people.
It has to be mutual. It has to go both ways. Yeah. Because what happens when the trust what happens when trust, like if you're in a relationship, but then like something happens, you feel betrayed, you feel lied to, you feel like the trust has been broken, like is it repairable, do you think? Or is it like...
It depends on how broken the trust is. If you're with somebody intimately in some kind of relationship and they, you know, sleep with somebody else, I personally believe that's something that would take a very, very, very time to get over in a relationship.
It would take a long time? Is that what you said?
As opposed to something like, you know, oh, let's have Burger King tonight when you really want to talk, or something like that. You know, there's this huge level of nuance to a lot of these questions, and that's why I like very specific as opposed to broad, because we have an hour and change maybe to sit here and talk about all these things with all these answers and all these different scenarios.
Yeah. You value time. You really value time.
Down to personal experience.
You respect the limitation of time. I think a lot of people...
There's no blanket statements. Trust. End of podcast.
That's it, guys. We found it. No, but that's... And I think a lot of people appreciate that, because there is a lot of, you know, just talking in... I don't know. I don't know. It's a nice, like, sometimes you want the fluffy answers, like, or sometimes you just want a blank statement. You know, this is what you, this is it.
I don't like comforters and comforting answers. I like factual, statistical, cold-hearted. This is what it is, whether I like it or not, kind of answer. That's what's really helped me cope with reality as a whole, and you know, in life and all.
Yeah,
I really absolutely love. I love when people think that they're being mean to me, but they're just being factual. If they go, "Hey, your hair looks like garbage today," I don't take that as an insult. I go, "Thanks for letting me know. I'm gonna try and do something about it," as opposed to, "Oh no, you sure look great, pal," and then everyone's like, "What's wrong with this weirdo?" You know?
Yeah,
like, I appreciate honesty and trust above all.
yeah, I get that. So let me ask you this: what makes you happy? Like, what makes you happy? What makes you like enjoy? Well, when you have moments where you enjoy life, what is it about? Like, is it the small things, the big things? Is it a video game, a new release? Is it like when you get to go to the shooting range?
That honestly helped out a lot. I'm not gonna lie. Just going out to the range and being with one of my friends who I hadn't seen in probably close to 2 years, and knowing we still have some kind of, you know, rather solid connection to each other. And it just happened to like evolve around guns and motorcycles. That's how we met. I was on my bike and
with the gun.
I was riding
No.
I was riding down the road and I saw this other guy on a bike and I was like, "Whoa!" I turned around, you know, blah blah, we got right back up to him. We both stopped at the stop sign. I go, "Hey, where you riding at?" And he goes, "I'm going this way." I'm like, "Cool, me too."
What?
And then we just literally, that's how we met. I rolled up next to him on my bike. He was on his. And I was like, "Hey, you want to ride?" It's like, "Yeah, let's go." And then we both were just rocketing down these back streets in the middle of nowhere, Iowa, that were somehow paved and not, you know, gravel roads like most of these roads are. And we're having fun, we're hanging out. And then he's like, "Oh, hey, yeah, I actually got to go home now." I'm like, "Oh yeah, what are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, I was gonna make a video." I was like, "Oh,
What?
well, I have a GoPro and it's on right now." And he's like, "Cool, come over." I'm like, "Okay."
Oh, so you made a video together,
And,
like a okay.
I don't know if it really came to anything. I don't think he
Oh,
ever really
okay.
finished it.
Okay,
It
but
was just something fun.
Yeah. That's how you meet friends where Cory lives. You have to go out on your bike and just
literally just roll up to people and be like, "Hey, you're doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You want to do this together?"
That's what happens.
Okay,
Yeah.
or "No, weirdo." Those are your two answers.
I mean, it's good to at least ask. You risk very little in the end.
You're really not going to get to know anybody by going, "Oh, gee, I wonder if they're going to like talking." You're not going to get anywhere with anybody. Like, you have to meet people in order to get to know people. In order to make friends, you have to put yourself out there and put some sort of trust in somebody else, you know?
I like that. I like that a lot. I think I trust a lot of people. Like I'm naive in that sense. I trust people before maybe they like even after
God,
they
I wish that were me.
even after I have signs, maybe I shouldn't trust them. I trust them a little bit more, and I trust them a little bit more, and then like, oh, okay, maybe I don't know. But I'd rather be naive than be, you know, like cold towards people. But it might be more safe, you know, for your own personal safety, you know, being a little bit cold and, you know, passive, not so open to new people. It might save you some heartache. But I don't know. We are who we are.
Personal.
We are who we are.
Individual aspect. You know, whatever makes you feel most. If you don't like approaching people and you wait for people to approach you, by all means, absolutely do. If that's what makes you feel comfortable and safe, do it. You know,
there we
go. There's moments when I'll go, "Oh, I don't talk to that person because I'm feeling, you know, I'm not feeling up to it. I feel like it's gonna go bad. Start getting, so I just won't do it." There's other times where, you know, I'll roll up some guy on a bike and I'm like, "Hey, you want to ride together?" Out of literally nowhere, we just happen to meet on the road, you know, and we have a, you know, I play games with him like more now than I ever used to, because you know we kind of it kind of comes back to the other thing, like we kind of drifted apart, kind of like, you know, how I was with my brother, and then we really came back together much more stronger, which is why I get that, you know, the whole forgiveness thing, but at some point you got to kind of just cut your loss, you know.
Yeah.
And I've done that with other people that I've met. I'm like, oh hey, a buddy, the same buddy of mine that I met on the bike, we were out at the range and we're, you know, pew-pewing, whatever, practicing, you know, having fun, hanging out. And there was a guy there, and met him through the gun range because he had bug spray. And we didn't know the bugs were going to be super bad that day. And that's another thing too that I love, is that, you know, some of those people are like some of the nicest people. And we're like, hey, do you have any bug spray on you? And he goes, yeah. He's like, I do. And like we both have our backpacks full of stuff. You know, we have our full kits with us. We have no bug spray and no sunscreen. Like two of the most common outdoor things to have. And we didn't have them, but we had everything else in our kits. And he's like, yeah. Psst, 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 psst. There you guys go. Like,
friends for life.
What do you got there, by the way? And, you know, then we start talking about
Yeah.
It's a lot of good things can become just being friendly, and like a friendly and or genuine, I guess, because there's, you know, nuance to both, but in general it's being genuine and not a total meanie.
Right. People appreciate that. It's like, of course, one of the things that I do, like that I like to, like, I promote myself as a friend, like I'm a friendly streamer. Like that's what I really believe it. I believe it's good. Like we need more of it. I think, yeah, I really think it's also like in the I don't know, when you're genuine, you will attract people that likes you for who you are, and that is a treasure in itself, like worth so much more than getting, you know, attention because of something radical you've done or like something that's like, and but getting attention because you are who you are, that is beautiful.
Yeah, and like I said too, there's you have to trust people a lot in order to be genuine, which is why I feel like it's absolutely imperative to be yourself. Yeah, sure, tweak yourselves in small ways to be, you know, more friendly or whatever, which I think I did coming into your stream when I first met you. I was acting in kind of a different way than I normally would, but it still wasn't far off from what I wanted in a friend, you know?
Right.
And like with some of my other friends too, I mean, we say some of the absolute worst things that you can imagine people say.
Yeah.
And we'll sling it at each other and just laugh it off, you know. And those are the kind of friendships that I treasure, to where you can be an absolute, like, if you said that to anybody else that you didn't know, they'd beat you up on the spot, you know.
Yeah.
And to me, that there's a lot of trust in having those kind of jokes and those kind of even situations, to where, like, you know, one of your best friends messes up on something, you go, oh, nice job, expletive, you know, bad word, you. And then they go, ha ha ha, and then they go, expletive to you too. And there's this sense of like cohesion that I absolutely love with those kinds of relationships.
And I think that's great. If you have an environment or like a, you know, a group of people where you've agreed, like you have a set of, you made the rules for yourselves, how, like, what is acceptable. And if you put the bar very high, like extremely high, where you can say almost anything, that's okay. And like it's
almost a sense of freedom.
Yeah. And it sets you free to like just act out, like, and be weird and say crazy stuff and go wild.
Stand on your chair, you know?
Yeah. And I think we need spaces like that in our lives, and you can find it like, you can find it in different places, sometimes with someone like you're playing video games with, or maybe someone, just a friend that you see every now and again, or speak to on the phone, or a relative or a sibling. But yeah, I think that helps us to kind of explore who we can be, and like different, like just explore parts of ourselves, or like of parts of our personality that we normally don't, you know, express in like
Yeah.
at the convenience store.
If you're
cool.
going out in the general public, just don't be a big head. Just be someone like, I'm not saying go out and be like overly like creepy and like, hi, how are you doing? My name's this. Anything I can do for you? Because people always walk up with a guard.
That's
People
me
are
though.
always guarding
That sounds like me.
Sometimes it's refreshing. I'm not gonna lie. It's refreshing sometimes. But see, like with you, it's like you can totally let your guard down because of the way you do it. Most people can't get away with it. You got something special, my friend.
I'm dorky in a
Most
way
people,
that
like if they're like overly nice to you, you're kind of like, okay, what are they
right.
How do I get out of this situation? You feel smaller and smaller, and it's just there's lines that are in different areas for different things.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Cory, what do you want to talk about next? Like, what's on your heart? What's on your what is going on in your life, Cory? What do you want to put out there that's just on your heart? Might be a small thing.
Jobs stink. I hate having jobs.
Jobs.
I hate jobs.
Let's talk about jobs. Boo. We hate jobs.
Boo.
Get rid of all the jobs. Do you have you don't like
everybody free everything?
Yeah.
God, could you imagine the collapse of the world?
No jobs?
But no, like I've so a little personal thing about me is I had lived where I'd like in like the same area for most of my life, and I had just moved out of my parents or out of my mom's house, and I had my own place with my fiance, and like within 2 or 3 months of us moving out, I had lost my job. So I go, okay, where's the next job at that still pays what I was making? So I ended up moving over 4 hours away to another job, working for the same guy, mind you, just a different company.
Oh.
And I was out there. It's actually out here-ish. And I worked there for a while. That place ended up shutting down. And then a guy from that same company that I was working for, he opened up his own shop, and I, was working there with him, but that place closed down. And I'm like, I'm stranded over 4 hours away with literally only one person who I have to house.
Yeah.
What do I do? And then, and now I'm working at a grocery store,
I've just recently been there. Working in a grocery store, yeah. Well, what about it? Yeah.
It's something.
Yeah, but like, okay, so are you like, what was the work you did before? Is it a lot different from what you do now?
It's the absolute opposite. I used to program, run, and fabricate countertops.
Oh, yeah.
For a 3-axis router. And now I stock shelves and cut meat in the meat department of the local grocery store. It's like two totally opposite things that have no connection whatsoever.
Would you take a job that paid you less if it like was something that you would enjoy more? Like, and where is the line? Where do you draw the line? Like, how little?
If it pays my bills and I'm happy, then I'm happy. If it pays my bills and I'm happy and I have extra money, I'm more than happy.
Yeah, right.
As long as my bills are paid, that's the absolute number one. As long as I can, get this, my whole life like set up and some kind of baseline, as long as that baseline is met of where, I don't have to, I'm not struggling, like to, do I eat today? Then if I don't eat today, then I can't pay this bill. Then that's to me is not paying. You have to eat, you have to have, your bills paid, you have to have some sort of housing, you have to have something.
Right.
As materialistic as that feels, it's kind of, shelter is a material thing.
Oh, yeah, but it's a basic kind of need as well. Necessary. So it's not really, not being materialistic. I mean, you can, because housing, like basic housing is not being materialistic. It's basic needs. But people though spend a lot of money on houses that they don't really need. Sometimes.
If you got the money, spend it, dude. I don't care. That's totally up to you.
Yeah.
Now, if you're out there overspending and then and you're, I don't know what's $750,000 house, and you're only bringing in $100K a year, you're either doing some really sketchy stuff or you're not living within your means.
Right.
I'm not saying, know your place kind of thing, but know where and how you can live and live that to the best of your ability.
But we know, somewhere we know that happiness doesn't come from more and more materialistic, like stuff.
Yes.
And gold and shiny things, or the biggest cars, or but still there is so much in society and the media pushing us to buy more stuff and better stuff and upgrade.
That brings me to a whole nother point we can talk for hours about.
Can you boil it down for me?
I heard another knock at the door. I actually need to go make sure everything's fine.
We're gonna take a short little intermission here. 1 minute break, or however minutes you want to take. That's fine, Cory.
Give me just a couple minutes. I want to make sure.
Go.
I will be right back. Here's my be right back screen.
Hey, look at Cory. Almost. Wow, it's a bouncy Metroid thing. I complain about it. You can see Potato Kartoffel Resub Dual Blade, a Royal Instinct hosted. Nice. Hello guys, if you're watching right now, we will be right back with Cory. In the meantime though, I'm just gonna say hello to you and talk to you guys. There is a proven threshold where happiness doesn't increase with pay increase. Yeah, and I really believe in that. I spent the last year and living on minimum wage, but doing what I love, which is streaming, and feeling really good about life. Although I guess I was a little bit irresponsible because I was losing a little bit of money every month. It's I wasn't saving money, because I think saving money is probably a good idea, because if you're not saving, you're probably, losing money every month. That's not good. So in the end, I still had to get another job and work a little bit more than I was. And if you can find a balance where you work just enough to, pay for everything and save a little bit of money, if you're happy, to me, happiness, it comes from so many other things than, working at this job that pays my bills. And I feel like a lot of people are really stressed at work, and working so much is actually not good for them. And in the end, that job pays for a lifestyle. Welcome back, that they don't really want in the end. Welcome back, Cory. Hi. Is everything good?
I got really scared.
Oh.
For like 10 seconds because I forgot something, and I'm not smart for forgetting it. I forgot she went into work at 1 o'clock.
Oh.
So I was like, she's not out here. Where did she go? The knock at the door. What was that? And I was like, what's going on? Then I look outside and I'm like, oh, her car's gone. She went to work. Duh.
So no one knocked. What? No one knocked? There was just
there was a knock at the door earlier, and I went out.
Ghost.
Another one, but that was her leaving. It was the door opening.
Oh.
I was like, oh, there's something over there. What's going on? No, it was literally her leaving. That's my crazy brain doing.
Okay, that's good. It's good that wasn't a problem or anything that happened that was bad.
I am so happy it wasn't a problem.
Yeah,
I'm happy, and I'm drinking pure water from my OBearry mug.
The only one in the whole world, maybe there might be like an, but it's
The
like
only complete from the factory one, I guess.
yeah. So before we end this podcast, we're getting closer to the end.
Geez, it's already been. Wow.
But we don't have to end it right now. But I want to talk about Adventure Gnome and the charity that we did in my community, the OBearry community, and with all the friends that helped out to raising $765 in just the most ridiculous short time. Like, didn't even, we didn't plan it for like a week or two, and not many people knew about it a long time in advance, but still we got a lot of support for our friend Adventure Gnome, who's an artist, and he makes a lot of beautiful artwork. He's made that little emote on top of, like right above me, the kiss emote, for example. And he's done a lot of amazing artwork. And his computer broke down at least twice, his laptop that he's working on. And he managed to get it running again, but it's like, it's not good. And we wanted him to have like better equipment. And so we had this, I was surprised, and you can imagine Adventure Gnome's shock when he found out about it. It was so wholesome because he was on the stream.
We love our Nomi boy.
We love Nomi boy, and it was really, it shocked me. We raised so much money in a short time, and sometimes when you have a charity for a good cause, people can't really relate to it the same way they can relate to a friend, someone they know, someone they talk to, someone who provided like something like artwork that you enjoy, like that. If that person is in trouble, that you want to help out. But a good cause is a little bit more abstract. It's a little bit more distant to you in some ways.
It's not personable.
It's not. Yeah.
For the most part, it's a lot less personable. So with Gnome being and as gracious as he's been, and just so much he's done for the community as well, I feel like it's not undeserved. He absolutely should be able to keep doing what he's been doing.
Yeah.
And when you see something happen in front of you, some people kind of go, "Oh, what's that?" And then there's other people who go, we're helping, we're doing this, we're making sure you can stand up again. And that kind of brings me back to my sheepdog mentality, as to where I want to help as much as I physically can, and no matter what I feel not enough, regardless of what it is. But circling back to Gnome again, I've commissioned him to do some things for me, and he's drawn some things, 2 or 3 things, just like, oh, hey, here's a thing and I'm like, I'm dumbfounded. I'm like, why would somebody go out of the way and do this for me? I'm literally just I'm another brick in the wall. There you go, music for you. and he has this energy about that I find absolutely amazing. The way he phrases things and says things, the way he goes about doing things is something I could never do. It's not something I necessarily aspire to do, but it's something that I respect with all of my heart and soul. He pours himself out every time he does almost anything.
Yeah.
And that's got to take a lot from somebody to do. And I'm just dumbfounded at the perseverance that this man has to do this. It's like it takes a lot, and then it blows my mind how hard this guy works and how much of himself he puts in everything he does.
Nice. That's a great way to describe who he is and what he does. You can find Adventure Gnome. It's adventure is it underscore? Yeah, adventure underscore gnome with a 0 on Instagram, and there's the link, adventure underscore gnome with a O with O. It's the Twitch link.
Yeah. Oh, not the 0 on Twitch.
Yeah. There we go. I just wanted to.
What a precious boy.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, and like I'm so proud of the community and what we do, and I also think about how can I make any charity more personal, like so that we can do more good. How can I spread more positivity, knowing that making a charity personal actually, you know, makes it more real for people and makes people want to, like, I don't know, it makes it better in a way than if I just decide like, oh, I want money for this good cause, which is like I want, because I really want to help out people that are really in need, like that are like struggling with like the basics in life, but at the same time I want to help out friends too in the community if I can. Like you guys really showed me that there's a lot of support to be had if you just, you know, like give us the opportunity. Give you the opportunity.
I'm getting distracted myself, honestly.
that's how we know it's probably a good place anyway to round up. It's a nice place to round off this podcast. It's been great having you. Thank you, Cory.
Thank you for allowing me on your platform and being as gracious as you are to give me a much substantially larger voice than I would have alone. And you know, it's this kind of support, as we were just talking about, that it's absolutely mind-boggling that, you know, to me personally, that people care this, and I appreciate it to no end. And I love you and everybody else who's here. I love you all, chat. I haven't forgot about you. I've been reading you off on the side. It's fine.
Ooh, and we love you too, Cory. Love you too, Cory. And you go check out Cory_the_Klein. There's a link in the chat right there, and I will post it in like under the video. I don't know.
Sorry, I guess I have. Oh, I have my slobs open, so my alert played. I'm sorry. That was really.
You had like a sound
so
effect
loud.
going off in your ears. Oh, okay.
Yes, that was really loud.
You had a funny face on there.
And it's unexpected.
And yeah, that's cool. We appreciate you, and you're part of the family, Cory. And I really love these podcasts where you just get to sit down with the friends in the community. And if you stick around here now after the podcast, if you are on Twitch right now watching this, we will stick around for a few minutes if you have time, Cory, just to, you know, chat with the people that are here. But if for now, to you who are listening to the podcast, we just want to say thank you and goodbye. Take care, guys.
I love you.